Of the 9 worship styles for kids, a child that leans toward the Sensate style likely is always touching, hugging, sniffing, and tasting things, maybe even at inappropriate times. Let's talk about engaging God with all 5 senses to help your Sensate child connect with God on a much deeper level. Hi, I'm Christy Thomas, the Bedtime Devo Mama. What does your church look like? Mine has the usual bare walls and wooden pews of a typical evangelical church. It looks nothing like the descriptions of God's home, which is described as having a riot of colors, sounds, and sights, and people worshiping and singing, and angels and rainbows and rivers. Our kids were made to engage in life using their senses. It's how God made them. A baby doesn't just want to taste her food, she wants to squish it and rub it on her face. Some kids grow out of this need to experience everything with all their senses, but others don't. Then we tell them to sit still while we read the Bible, or close their eyes and fold their hands while they pray. It's unfair to these kids that we engage their senses in every other part of life, but not in connecting with God. But how can you use your senses to connect with a God who's invisible and untouchable? God gave us the 5 senses, right? We can use our senses and our creativity to connect what we see, touch, taste, smell, and hear to what we know about God. For example, incense was used in the ancient Jewish temple. You can incorporate the sense of smell into prayer through the use of essential oils. The smells can become a trigger for your child, a signal that they're entering God's presence through prayer. If you use the scent of candle instead of oil, you can also incorporate the sense of sight into your child's prayer time, hitting 2 senses at once. You can incorporate the sense of touch by using sensory bands as a teaching tool for Bible stories. Incorporating the sense of taste into your child's worship, you can do this by inviting her to participate in the Lord's Supper. If you find that uncomfortable, you could try setting up a little snack or tea party at the table sometimes when you read the Bible with your kids. And with the sense of sound, you can help your child worship through sound by finding a worship music style that your child loves. You get bonus points for the sense of proprioception if you use the music to start a dance party. Let's talk about a 5 senses prayer. Let's try this prayer with our sensory children. You'll need a jar of honey and a scented candle. Light the scented candle, which engages the sense of smell and sight. Invite your child to sit down, cross-legged. Invite her to stick her finger into the jar of honey. It's sticky, right? Just like the honey sticks to your skin, God's love sticks to you no matter where you go. That engages the sense of touch. You could also read this Bible verse and talk about God's words being sweet. Psalm 119 verse 103 says, "How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth." This engages the sense of sound. Finally, let your child suck the honey off her finger as a tasty reminder of God's sweetness. For a simple book that helps your child connect their 5 senses with their faith in God, I recommend Quinn's Promise Rock. In this story, Quinn the owl is worried about losing her dad while they're out hunting. Her dad shows her through the metaphor of a rock that even when dad's not around, she can depend on God. He flies her to the top of a mountain and reminds her that God is huge and consistent, like the rock under their feet. When they get caught in a rainstorm, they take refuge in a cave. Quinn's dad tells her that God is also a refuge, like the cave. Then they fly to the forest floor and he picks up a small rock in his talon. God is like this tiny rock. Even though he's big like a mountain and safe like a cave, you can also carry him everywhere you go. God is always with you. Children can learn to understand the abstract concept of God's presence by engaging their senses of touch and sight through this story. They can even create their own promise rock and keep it in their pocket to remind them of this enduring truth. You can ask your local Christian bookstore to bring in Quinn's Promise Rock, or I'll leave an Amazon link below. This video was specifically about the Sensate worship style, but did you know there are actually 9 worship styles for kids? I have a downloadable quiz that you can take which will help you determine which of the 9 worship styles your child leans toward. The link is in the video description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe on YouTube or like my Facebook page so you'll get notifications when new videos are up. Each one contains short, sweet, hope-filled ideas for spiritually parenting our kids. See ya!